If your brand is a perception in the mind of those individuals or targets that you most clearly see impacting, really want to impact, what is branding? Branding is everything you get to do, and none of us have the time and money to do them all. So you must be strategic, and branding is shaping a consistent perception. It's that simple.
Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast, the #1 source for proven solutions to all your marketing challenges.
Today on the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast, we're welcoming back a familiar face with the true authority in the world of branding. Rich Kozak is returning to the show. And if you caught his first appearance, you already know he brings the kind of clarity and power that no one else can talk about when it comes to brand impact. Rich is the founder and CEO of Rich Brands and one of the most seasoned branding experts you will ever meet. His background spans more than 4 decades across global branding, marketing research, product management, business development, high-level brand strategy. Heck, he's done it all. He's worked in over 20 countries, shaped brands across hundreds of industries, served as president of the American Marketing Association in Southern California, held leadership roles at the AMA International Board. Heck, Richard is a speaker, a coach, a co-author, multiple best-selling books, including Cracking the Rich Code with Kevin Harrington and Jim Britt, and his own powerful framework, Impact-Driven Branding. Rich, welcome back to the show.
Marco, it's great to be here. Thank you. What a great introduction. I'd like to take you with me wherever I go.
Yeah, do that. I'll gladly carry your bags and follow your footsteps.
Brother, it's good to be here.
You bet. Thank you, sir. So, you know what? I want to get right into the elephant in the room. I mean, you've been doing this for 40 freaking years.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by the brand? What do you mean by what is branding to you? What is it that we all mostly do wrong?
These are great questions. Thank you. Okay, let's keep it really simple. If you're listening to this, this is probably going to be a blessing to your business and probably to your life. So get a pen and write a couple of these things down. Your brand, a brand, like, let me talk about, if you're listening to this, I'm going to call it your brand. So you might be an individual and have your own, maybe you're the brand, or you have an entity that you've named and it's the brand, but you're the founder. Either or. Your brand is a perception. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you say it is. You can talk to Marco and me for 3 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 hours, explain the brand. It doesn't matter what you say. Your brand is a perception, but it's not your perception. It's a perception in the mind of those types of individuals or businesses or industries or countries, depending on who you are and what the impacts you want to make are. Let's start with individuals because it's much easier to conceptualize. Your brand is the perception in the mind of those individuals that you clearly see impacting with your work, your gift, your calling, and you really want to. It's their perception. So when you realize your brand is the perception in the mind of your most important target audiences, what you do and how you think of how you prioritize, how you strategize shifts significantly. So if your brand is a perception in the mind of those individuals or targets that you most clearly see impacting, really want to impact, what is branding? Branding is everything you get to do, and none of us have the time and money to do them all. So you must be strategic. It's all those things we get to do, and write this down, to shape a consistent perception in those minds. It's not consistent, you lose. Inconsistency breaks trust. It breeds distrust. People don't know what to expect. So it's got to be consistent across the board. Matter of fact, there are 4 things you absolutely must have. And I know, Marco, you said, what are people doing that's hurting them? What mistakes are they making? I'm going to start with the 4 things you absolutely must have, or your brand will fall flat. In other words, oh, that's nice. You've heard that before. What do you do? Oh, I do this. Oh, that's nice. Versus, really? Wow. Wow. Look, I got to go, but can I have your card? That's not fall flat. You got to have 4 things for your brand to come alive and attract those people you really want to attract. So we can start with that, but that's the answer. What is a brand? It's a perception, but it's not your perception. It's the perception in the mind of those people you clearly see impacting and you really want to. And maybe they're world leaders. It doesn't matter who they are. Your targets are your targets. And branding is shaping a consistent perception. It's that simple. And you get choices.
So now I want to get into something you've got coming up next week. And hopefully we've got this published live by then. Rick, we're going to try to move mountains to get this published in time. But let's jump right into this as we can keep everybody's attention. You've got coming up, tell us about, we're sharing, if you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble, I'm sharing my screen right now to talk about the event you've got coming up, Rise into Purpose. Tell us about this, and the links are down in the show notes. You don't want to miss this event. Wednesday, November 19th, 8 a.m. goes through Friday the 21st. Tell us about this. What can people expect you to be doing, and what's going on here?
Well, thanks for asking. So this is a free event. You can, if you want to get the recordings, you can go VIP and pay a little money. But this is a free event, and it's called Rise into Purpose Summit. And the people who are speaking are people who help guide others. They're coaches, they're leaders, they're experts. They guide others to step into their purpose. And they are in their purpose. And so the speakers we have here are phenomenal. And there's some really, some of them you've never heard of. Take for instance, John Sparks. John has personally guided the collaboration that's turned into over 960 new theater musicals in the last 40 years. You've never heard of John Sparks, but he's still doing it. He literally helps people live their dream, the vision they have. Mo Rock, who owns the LA Tribune and the Dubai Business Journal and some other place all over the world, he's building media that is uplifting. His TED Talk talks about how the media we choose to listen to shapes the world we see and literally shapes our lives. Mo is a world changer. Jim Britt himself was Jim Rohn's business partner, Tony Robbins' mentor. Jim is one of the most powerful coaches in the world, and he's going to talk about the power of letting go, which is pure Jim Britt. The theme is, what does it look like living a fulfilling life? Each of these individual speakers will talk about the work they're doing to help people step into a fulfilling life, whether it's a high potential woman and nurturing her powerful future, or preparing CEOs and their teams for strategic business transformation and making sure you're hiring the right people to fit the culture that you must become. It's like, there's some things going on here that are really, really high levels. So there are a lot of speakers. My suggestion is just, go VIP and get the recordings, because you want to listen to these over and over. Lou Vickery, the voice of generational wisdom. Dan Nera, building powerful YouTube channels for people who can change the world in extremely positive ways. Janet Vinciguerra, the founder of Kids Who Care, parents building a foundation for generations. Today, any parent can build character in each child in minutes a day, thanks to the work of Building Kids Who Care. It is remarkable, the people you'll meet and the things you'll hear. So, boy, if you can, stake out some time on your calendar, November 19, 20, and 21. It's a Pacific time zone, so it's 8 to 4 Pacific. translate that into whatever is where you are. Make sure you hear several speakers, and you know what, get the recordings because you'll want them. You want to play them over for yourself, but you can play them for your team. You can play them for your children. This is life changing, life helping understand. It's a process, and there are choices, and sometimes the choices are not obvious. And these people are helping people every day step into a more fulfilling life in so many ways. Well, I even asked Frank King. Frank talks about suicide, but he's a stand-up comedian, and so he speaks to organizations, to industries where there's a high suicide rate. But Frank is delightful, and he's a professional paid speaker, and he's here to talk to us. He's done 13 TEDx talks. Frank King is just remarkable.
Wow.
So
Wow.
look, anyway, it's worthy, and it won't be the last time we do it, but it'll probably be a different set of people next time. Yeah. So that it's the Rise into Purpose Summit. How does it look? Living a fulfilling life. Boy, what a blessing.
Wow. So I wanted to get that out quick to see, get as many folks as possible over to that. Again, a free 2 or 3 day event there that you can't get. I mean, you just can't get that much value, especially free if you can just immediately take the time or buy the recording so that you can keep listening to them over and over. All right. I've got a whole bunch of questions more for Mr. Kozak as we get back and talk about branding and talk about practical applications to these branding techniques. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
It's time to wow, surprise, and impress your clients with the most powerful customer draw card available anywhere. The Marketing Boost Solutions Show is brought to you by Marketing Boost, where you can get valuable travel and restaurant incentives to drive your leads from prospects to paying customers. Now you can offer complimentary hotel stays in over 130 destinations worldwide. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com and try it for free right now.
You just heard from our main sponsor, marketingboost.com. Of course, if you're new to Marketing Boost, what do? We provide you with the incentives, the rewards, the perks that you can give to your customers to stand out from the crowd and get them to take whatever your call to action is. As you can see behind me, we keep flipping through different destinations. Marketing Boost gives you 100 complimentary hotel stays from 3 to 7 night stays in over 180 destinations now around the world. And it's cost you as the business owner pennies on the dollar. So go check that out, marketingboost.com, and learn how you can reward your clients, motivate them to take your call to action. And we're back with Mr. Kozak. Rich, tell us about, well, what's been going on a little bit between the last time you were on the show and now. What's some of the biggest shifts you've seen on how entrepreneurs think about branding?
Well, that's a good question, and I appreciate the update. So what's happened since you and I did about a year ago, I guess, there have been a whole new, actually two, I think, groups of people who have gone through Brand Accelerator Mastery. This is a program that we share with individuals who want to get who want to get their branding right. Typically, the people who hear me speak and who say, I think we need to talk, are people who have decades of experience doing something. They might even have a well-formed reputation for it, but they know they're not done, and they know there's more. They want to take it to another level. Sometimes they have clear pictures of the impacts that they want to make, and sometimes they just know they're not done. And so, but they don't know how to deal with getting through that locked gate to the next level. They don't have language, and so giving them clarity. I mean, if I boil it down to it, what's happened in the last year, if we've learned even better than in the first 9 years I've been doing this with individuals, how to evolve individuals' brands with deep clarity that's often missing. And when it's missing, it doesn't work well. People don't trust it. It feels like it's not all there. And what's missing is the clarity. And there are two particular areas of clarity. If you want to talk about them, I'd take 2 minutes to do that. But clarity is missing, and with longevity, so that they have a roadmap, a strategic roadmap, book 1, book 2, or the things they create, the programs they create. We create a strategic roadmap so they can do what they love for more decades. So longevity and divine purpose. Because Marco, you and I both know, when people have some time when people have decades of experience, they kind of start to get to the point where they start thinking about significant contribution and significant impact and giving back and even legacy. And sometimes legacy includes their book or their signature speech or them talking on a higher level topic than what they're known for. I mentioned John Sparks. He's known among the people who know him for helping theater musicals become real and step into excellence, those emotional moments that can literally change generations from the stage. That's what American musical theater does all around the world. But John has a higher level brand that we're defining, and it has to do with releasing creativity, with freeing your creativity, with not squashing other people's creativity, because by liberating our creativity, we literally step into our God-given gifts. And why wouldn't we do that? Why would we prevent somebody else from doing that? So the way we coach, the way we guide, the way we parent, the way we lead, John is going to be a voice for liberating creativity. Now, his stories will be about musical theater, which is about people and about the way people are, but it's a higher level message. So in this last year, there have been some people who have joined that are truly world changers. We've created some new, let's call it future partnerships, people that we've gotten close to who have said, I really like what you're doing. Rich, I want your work to be a part of what we do. So it's about to go to another level. And because my prayer is still the same every morning, Lord, put in front of me those people whose lives or businesses you want me to touch with this gift, and give me the eyes and ears and the wisdom to know who they are. It's not up to me. The desire for impacts in people's hearts, I didn't put it there. I believe God put it there. And when we step into those desire for impacts and literally accelerate the process, which is what the 7 steps of impact-driven branding does, I believe we're doing God's work. So
let me ask you about that. As your logo says behind you, impact-driven branding. What is different about that from what you might call traditional branding? And can you kind of define the two?
It's a fair question, and so I'll speak to it, directly. Impact-driven branding starts in your heart. So you take a person who really wants to make impacts. When you start the process, not by saying like, what colors do you like? Or we think you're the, trying to create a brand like, oh, you're the silver-tongued whatever of the coaching thing with a thing. Yep. Yep. And they think it's a positioning when they haven't even looked at what else is out there, and positioning is comparative. That's just inane. Okay. But people do it. And you start in your heart. You close your eyes. Step 1 is imagine what you're doing when you're thriving. And step 2 is, hey, heart, give me one. Give me one of those people I clearly see impacting and I really want to impact. And you define them, you describe them, and you write down each impact starting at the lowest level. They reframe how they see something, and they take on new skills and take on new results. And that next thing you know, the highest level impact is they become a world changer. What are the impacts an individual clearly sees in their mind's eye making when they're thriving, making on this type of person or type of leader or type of business that they clearly see impacting? You write those things down. Where do they come from? They came from their heart. You start with the heart, and then everything after that. Well, in order to make that impact on that person, what characteristic must the brand get known for? It's all impact driven. In order to make that set of impacts on those people, what category of expertise must the brand be known for? And how do we say it so it's unique? It's all impact driven. titles and subtitles of content that go out 4 years, that have a hook that pull people into the content to get credit for what's at the top of the column, which is a category of expertise. You know, how does a woman who's run a bookkeeping business, that Patty Hansen, she's in Florida, she has people all over the United States that work for her. She's in bookkeeping. Bookkeeping, really? I mean, there's one on every corner, there's 10 on every street corner in bookkeeping. Yeah. No, Patty's on the front edge of technology and the way that world is changing. Well, what is her category of expertise? Her category, the woman, we test it this way, the woman speaking at the, fast, rapid growth business conference next year is an expert at simplifying the tech and accounting decisions for your business to reach millions. Is that a category? Yeah. We created it because no one says it that way. And listen to simplifying the tech and accounting. Wait a minute, do they even work together? Decisions for your business to reach millions. Millions of what? Millions of people, millions of dollars, whatever. It's intangible brand promises baked into a category of expertise that no one else uses, that is unique. Another one, somebody who comes and says, hey, I lost my wife to lupus. I started doing my own new health journey and realized there's all these alternatives out there. Now I've studied organic hybrid mushrooms and their efficaciousness on cancer. I've studied stem cells and how you can eat natural things that help your body build their own stem cells and manage aging. I've even studied with Daniel Amen how you can have a younger brain as you age. And you're like, wait a minute, what do you do? That's a hodgepodge. Like, how do you brand that? That man's umbrella brand is, the man speaking at the conference next year is an expert at mindful longevity, experiencing a younger brain as you age, holistic health mentoring that empowers lives. You get chills down your spine. It's intangible brand promises baked into positioning statements, baked into categories of expertise. So there have been, since you and I met, 50 maybe, okay, individuals who have gone through brand accelerator mastery and literally done the work. Everything is there, and now they're doing logos, or they're updating their website to make sure that their desired brand, the brand they will become, lives there, so that they can race to those impacts.
So your expertise, it sounds like one of the things you do best for people, or maybe not, let me ask you, is someone starting a business, should they be or pivoting from careers, in their mid-50s or what have you, where should they, or they already have a business, should they come and step into your world, for example, and learn how to rebrand, maybe even rename their business and what have you before they get too deep into it, to make sure their message and their brand is aligned with what they're trying to reach people with?
I'll reword the question so that it's in my language. Should they be defining and languaging the brand they must become to make the impacts they really want to make, because they took the time to close their eyes and say, okay, I've done this at corporate, now I want to do what I love. Here's what I see is going to happen. Here are the impacts I really want to have on other people's lives. I've learned how to do this. I want to share that with others. Whatever it is, should they do that? Should they take the time to think about the impacts they want to have, which God put in their heart, and then define in language their brand before they allow their brand to open its mouth? Absolutely. Do I need to be involved? The reason I'm writing the book, Impact Driven Branding, 7 Steps to Ensure Your Brand Impacts People's Lives in the World, is so millions of people that fit this description, years of experience, and your example was in a corporate job, and now they want to do something else. They know they need a brand. They know they need an identity. They don't have it. So do they need to do it the right way at first, one time, instead of having to do it and do it and do it? Yes. Okay. And then other people who, they want to take what they've done to another level, absolutely. defining and languaging the brand so that it's consistent across the board, so that it has positive ongoing recognizability in the way it looks and the way it shows up, so that it's everything they do is congruent with their heart if they're the champion of the brand. And so there is unique language that transfers energy, not just unique language, but unique language that transfers energy, those intangible brand promises baked into the unique language like you and I just, talked about. Should they do that? Absolutely. Why? Because they will race to those impacts. They will accelerate their path to the impacts and to the money.
Right.
They're typically not money centered. My people they're impact driven. But we are all here. Look, the book I read every morning, Marco, says we're here to live and live abundantly and share that abundance with others. And we're here for two reasons: share love and praise God. And if we don't get those two right, we better go back to number one, get the love thing right. So it's a part, having impacts on others is love.
Mm-hmm.
So whose work is this? So should they? Yeah, they sure should. They're brand new and they know they need how to say something that you want. If you can ensure that everything you corporate, former corporate person now going off to a new career, if you could know that everything your brand says and does aligns with the impacts you clearly want to make and clearly see making, if you could know that's the case, wouldn't you? What's the year? You know how people, they say it this way, they say it that way, they create confusion, they create misinformation. They waste a lot of money on marketing and they think the marketing doesn't work. It's not the marketing that doesn't work. Marketing is the execution of an excellent branding strategy. And they don't get credit for what makes them outstanding. Why? Because they didn't do the work to define the language of the brand so that everything works together, everything aligns. If you knew you could do that, why waste a year? What's that?
Yeah.
What's the value of that?
Makes a lot of sense. When is your book coming out, by the way?
That's a good question. It's not up to me. It's going to be up to the publisher, and I am the publisher, which is kind of weird. But it might very well be on a publishing partner of mine that has taken on a couple of my clients' books. They specialize in distributing to bookstores, and I want my book in bookstores. I don't want to just have it on,
Amazon,
on digital. Yeah, I mean that's nice, but I literally want people having access to it, because it relates to, you can share this book with a teenager, share this book with somebody who's in the beginning of their career, and they get it. It shifts. It's not just a pivot.
So let me ask you this. So a lot of the Marketing Boost members in my community anyway, they're small business owners, many on tight budgets. What's one thing they could do, if anything, that could strengthen their brand without spending a lot of money?
That's a great question, and I love that question. The one word that comes to mind is focus. And my mother was an English teacher. She would say, well, darling, focus requires an object. It's like you have to focus on something. So focusing on your primary first, and I'm going to use the phrase target audience, because that's not a jargon term. It's a pure description. It's Phil Kotler. That type of individual or business that you clearly see impacting, focus on that. Align everything that you say and do with that. Use some of the steps of impact-driven branding. Make sure you write the impacts in priority or in chronological order that you clearly see having on them. Write their care-abouts, the phrases in their mind that repeat in their own language. I don't know if I can do this. If I could just have a team that supports me, whatever they're saying in their own language, it's in their own head with some frequency relevant to what you do. Write those things down. We'll call those care-about statements. You bait your marketing hooks with those care-about statements so they know you know how they're thinking. They know you know their pain. They know you know their fears. They know you know where they feel short. They know you know where they need help. Bait your marketing with those care about statements. Once you focus, then you're not all over the place, because all over the place turns in quickly into confusion or misinformation. And then you just fall flat. So you got to stop falling flat. And I I do 2 free 60-minute master classes every month. One of them is called brandfirstorDie.com, and it's free. 60 minutes, and it talks about how we need to evolve the perception for us to make our highest level impacts. And the other is called An Hour of Brand Power, and I talk about those 4 things you must have in your brand. You must bake them into the brand to come alive, and 7 of about 20, a list of 20 things. I do 7 things that brands do all the time that hurt them, and they need to stop right now. Okay, and I'm going to speak to one of those right now. It's a stop. Everybody seems to be thinking that using an artificial intelligence software to generate language for their business, their brand, is really smart, and they stop before they should stop. They stop and use stuff before they finish the job. Finish the job means you feed what you want, you get the results, you do not ever use the results verbatim. You make sure that those results are customized, are personalized, are edited to represent your brand, what makes you unique. If that unique language that transfers energy isn't there in what you do use when you put it in front of people, it's just what comes out of AI. Everybody else is using the same stuff, and it's like, you don't stand apart. So don't do that. When you use AI, make sure that the end result that you're going to use is personalized for your brand with unique language that transfers energy. And do not feed that unique language into a free AI engine. Then everybody has it, and you might have paid serious money and time to develop it. So don't do that either. Make sure you pay for a system that puts a wall around it and doesn't feed what your input to everybody else.
Powerful. Folks, when we come back, I'm going to be asking Rich about some of the smartest ways to increase awareness without feeling like you have to scream louder than everybody else. So we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Is your business on autopilot yet? Do you have automation in place to capture, nurture, and convert prospects into clients via email, SMS, ringless voicemails, appointment setting? Get all the inbound and outbound marketing tools in one place. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on automating your business so you can make money while you sleep.
You just heard from Automation Booster. Folks, if you're using Marketing Booster, if you don't have a CRM, if you're in business and you're not automating the platform to be able to email your clients, text message, ringless voicemail, if you don't have a funnel builder, if you don't have the technology to set up your systems, check out automationbooster.com. I've been an internet marketer since 1996, and I put this system together for you because I've never seen a platform so affordable that takes care of all your inbound, outbound marketing, email, text messaging, voicemail broadcasting, your funnel builder with over 150 templates that we offer that include the Marketing Boost incentives to give you ideas on how to present, how to reward people for taking your call to action. We have these templates in every different kind of industry niche. The purpose being to help you set up systems to reward people for taking your call to action, help you book more appointments, help you close more sales, and use incentives to make it happen. So check out Automation Booster, again, the most affordable automated platform that I've seen out there that does it all. Automationbooster.com. We're back with Rich Kozak, and we're talking about branding and how to brand yourself and make your message clear. So I had a question before the break, which was, what's the smartest way, Rich, to maybe increase awareness for your brand without feeling like you have to scream louder than everybody else online? Do you have any insights into something like that?
You asked really super questions. First of all, I'd like to lift up your automation booster. having a system like that, after you have defined in language your brand so that the language, the messaging hierarchy, the benefit statements, the categories of expertise that are lifted up in the messages that go out in your automated marketing are consistent, and they have this palpable clarity to them. Once you have that palpable clarity, you need a system like he just described, because frequency builds familiarity. Think about back when you were growing up in the days where people didn't, you couldn't turn off the advertising on the TV.
Right.
Even today, or watching a football game or baseball game, and that same ads are playing. It's like, unfortunately, a lot of them are stupid, but so don't do that either. But yeah, repetition is huge. The thing is, if you repeat something that's silly, or repeat something that's inane, or it doesn't have a benefit to it, it's just trick or cute, which is what a lot of those ads do. It's a waste of time. But when it is well thought out, and when all the language is aligned and it's consistent, people actually feel that. And once you have that, automating it to put it in front of a target audience, to do list builders so that you have more people to hear those messages and see them. Eventually, you'll touch them at a moment where they're open and they're familiar because they've seen it, and it hasn't changed in its theme every week or used different language so they don't even know what you do or who you are. It's been consistent across the board, and they feel like there's something different there. So using an automation system to share consistent messaging is absolutely huge. Generate more awareness.
Don't worry about it. Let me move on to the next question while you talk about that.
The other thing that comes to mind is joint venturing, because when you joint venture, your audience, your list is not their list. That's why you joint venture. And by joint venturing, and there's some really great joint venturing programs out there, and I kind of, in a way, you're one of them. But it helps you expose you to people that you wouldn't be exposed to. And when your language is clear and attracts and has intangible brand promises baked into it, you're going to get attention. People are going to be, the people you're supposed to attract will be attracted by that language because you've baked their care abouts into the marketing. So
love it. Thanks.
Yeah.
So one thing you do really well, and I'm actually trying to get better at, is how do we use education or teaching to build trust and elevate a brand?
That's a great question. Realizing there are different levels of people are at different levels of their understanding of things. So having the kindness and the patience to offer entry-level thinking, even if it's higher level concepts, and offering, and I'm gonna say free, because these days you want people to know how valuable you are. And there's so much free stuff out there. You want to make sure that your entry portal doesn't have a barrier to entry. And so the first opportunity you have to share something in beginner language with people and have them go, wow, that really helped me. No one's ever said it that clearly before. You've got their attention. You're starting to build their trust. So there are some amazing systems. One of the ones that I think is, YouTube is obviously humongous, but there's a system built on Six Sigma, and I'm not a representative of it, although I bought into it, but I'm not a representative of it. But it's called the Great Discovery, and it's based on, matter of fact, it's founded by one of the founders of Six Sigma, and his wife is this chairman of it. He's passed away now, but it is a a system that monetizes trainings, monetizes teaching worldwide, takes your voice, your language, and changes it into other languages where you're literally teaching on video and your mouth is moving and you're speaking Japanese and you don't speak Japanese, because they built this capability for Six Sigma. And it was a dream of one of the founders to do this. So now it rolled out about 2 years ago, and that's when I heard about it and got involved with it. But in the future, how would you sell what you do, your teachings, your training, to people who speak local dialects in countries you don't even know existed, and get paid for it? The great discovery, and hopefully that's a great discovery for you. So, check it out.
It is. Thanks. I just jotted both of those down. I got to look into that. The great discovery on Six Sigma.
Well, yeah, Six Sigma is the company. That it's
The
a
platform.
yeah, it's a quality control. It deals with statistically significant measuring, monitoring of the way a company runs itself, and it's usually taught to technical people and leaders, not to the lowest level people, but it's taught all over the world, and it's been taught for years and years. And so they set this system up to be able to train people on Six Sigma, and it's noted as like one of the top 10 programs that's literally changed business worldwide. And they're just taking the platform and using it to help monetize experts, what experts can bring to the party. They don't speak 130 languages, but the system does. And literally, with the power of AI, you're now teaching somebody in a local dialect, and you don't speak that dialect.
Cool. I got a bunch of more questions to get through, so let's see if we roll through these. One of your specialties is helping people make their brands come alive. What does that look like when someone's working with you? You talked about, for a moment there, we were on the commercial break, we talked about booking directly onto your calendar, which is going to be in the show notes. It's in the show notes below. You can quickly grab a link directly to talk free consultation with Rich Kozak. But tell us about that. You get starting with a calendar, joining on your call, or what have you. What's the process? What does it look like, real quick?
Well, what I just said about offering entry-level thinking, we offer two 60-minute masterclasses a month free. One of them is the one you're going to put in the show notes, brandfirstorDie.com. And it's an hour of understanding that in order to make your highest level impacts, you get to evolve the perception that is your brand. So if you don't evolve the perception, it might not be as easy to make those impacts. As a matter of fact, it might not be possible. So, and we also offer what are the 4 things, it's called an hour of brand power. What are the 4 things a brand needs, and several things that brands do that hurt them and you need to stop right now. Those are free. So get into one of them. You'll hear me speak. You'll hear people respond. We offer a half day every month, a half day workshop. It's not a workshop, sorry. It's not a workshop. It's a listening time. It's a mind shift time. And I train on logos, how to name things, logos and taglines, and message hierarchy. There's always those mini master classes in the last hour. How to name things, logos and taglines, and message hierarchy. How do you prioritize message hierarchy? People struggle with that stuff. They don't know their simple do's and don'ts. They don't even know rules and guidelines. So that half day is called Branding You with Impact.com, and that's the reg, branding you with UYOU, branding you with impact.com. So that's a half day, and it costs $97, but I should charge $1,500 for it. It literally saves people thousands of dollars naming things like logos, taglines, like not doing things that are going to hurt you, but you don't even realize that. It just saves you a ton of time, because if you have to redo it, remember we talked about what's the value of a year? What if you have to redo it?
You waste a year or two
kidding?
Going
And the
down
money,
wrong
and the
road.
money, and it's not the money, it's the time. How much time do you have left? You don't know. I don't know. It's not about the money. Okay. So it's like, you want to get the branding right, but the branding right is not some textbook thing. It's branding that's perfectly you. It's authentic to you. It comes from your heart. It feels like the most powerful and comfortable pair of shoes you've ever worn. It's authentic to you. You actually get access to your own authenticity when you start the process in your heart and focus on impacts. So people,
That says a lot right there. That's
people come to a 60-minute, they come to the half day. At the half day, we say, look, if this resonates with you, we have a 1-day workshop intensive. And I insist on working with you one-on-one to prepare you to make sure you're perfectly ready for that, because you're going to walk through all 7 steps in this workshop intensive, and you're going to watch your brand come alive on paper, and you're going to say, praise God, I can't believe my brand.
That leads me to my next question. Perfect, perfect tie-in.
Steps, man. It's steps, and we try to make it as easy as we can.
So you published, you're publishing the impact-driven branding, or you published that. You're working on the new book, 7 Steps. Within those 7 steps to create, what is the biggest breakthrough? Which of the 7 is one of the most powerful?
There are 2. One is where are the biggest aha moments for the people that are going through it, and where's the biggest breakthrough that really puts the brand on a unique trajectory. 2 different answers. The aha moments are in step 1 and step 2, and they're done with your eyes. You can do them with your eyes closed. But when you realize you're doing them, when you watch your step 2, where you've asked your heart, whom do you clearly see impacting and what are those impacts? And the steps that come out of that, where other people that don't even know you are suggesting characteristics that you need to get credit for to make that impact on that person, and you watch it all start to come alive, that's a huge aha moment for most people. They love the fact there is a community, that others who don't even know them listen to their description of their person they want to impact and the impacts, and literally share with them relevant language. Now they get to pick their own language, but it's like the process. They don't even know it was available. They never heard about this before. It's like, wow, this is amazing. The biggest trajectory moment is step 5. Step 5 is when we say, okay, you wrote down all those impacts. In order to make those impacts on your target audiences that you described, what categories of expertise must you get credit for? That's the question. And the way we go at it is we ask everybody, hey, to make those impacts, what categories of expertise must they have? It's not about the credit. It's just well, if they're a coach that helps people overcome being sexually abused as a child, maybe they have to have, the power to transform the way a person sees them, to help a person transform the way they see themselves. So they state, well, they need to be expert at this, so they need to be expert at that, they need to be expert at that. And that just goes down on a big piece of paper, and it looks like a hodgepodge until you start grouping them and then naming a theme for a column and saying, well, what would be the category of expertise that would be the, would set that person apart? And you put some language there, and then you start to craft it. And that's when something like having a better, training your brain, which is like, oh, that's nice, turns into mindful longevity, experiencing a younger brain as you age. So the man speaking at the Higher Level Living Conference is an expert at mindful longevity, experiencing a younger brain as you age. It's got a baked in intangible brand promise. It sounds like a category of expertise. When that happens, the crafting and the right words come out and the right words go in, and then and you, if you're the person we're working on, and we both look at it and go, whoa, that's it. And you go, yeah, that's it. That's the pivot moment, when you realize that no one's going to say it that way except me. And it's pure me. Wow, I can do this. That's it. Pretty cool.
How important do you say, this can lead into a segue of mine, but how important do you think trust is between a prospect and a business based on reviews and testimonials?
It's vital. I would say mission critical probably gives it its, its relevant importance. It's mission, trust is mission critical, and it's fragile. It's as fragile as it is mission critical. Here are the things that can break trust. Crossing the credibility line. Saying something is true that it's not. Let's say you thought you would, get some extra juice. You say, well, we're the number one, but you don't have any statistics. It's like saying the best burger in the world. It's like, well, really? Another best burger in the world? It's like when you cross the credibility line, you can't get back.
Right.
Or it's so expensive and takes so much time, you might as well just change your name and start again. Okay? So crossing the credibility and something as common, because it is common, and everybody that's listening to this probably does it. It's called inconsistency. You go to a networking, somebody says, what do you do? And you explain it. And then somebody else comes up and says, hey, I don't think we've met. What do you do? And you explain it differently. And the first person goes, wait a minute. I thought you did this, but you do this. Inconsistency breaks trust. You hire a person and they do their job day one really well. Then they change up how they do it the next day. Then the next day they change it up again. The next day they change it up again. Are you going to trust that person? No, because you don't know what to expect. Brands are like that. Consistency across the board. It is so, even how you show up, your voice, how you hold yourself, what you wear, the backdrop behind you. It's like, if it just changes all the time because it doesn't matter, sorry, you could have done better. It's like consistency across the board. People want to know that you want them to have their expectations in a positive place. You want them, and you want to say the same things the same way all the time, because some people will say this, oh, I love it when he says that. It's why, that's the way they say it. And they take
so that leads me into, folks, I want to tell you about something I'm excited about. We're launching a new product with a new brand. Speaking of brands, we're launching something that ties into trust. It's called trustbyreviews.com. Trustbyreviews.com. Folks, that's how I got started in this business with Marketing Boost. We needed testimonials. We needed reviews. And we could hardly come by them. We were with a very high volume travel company, and we kept thinking, man, if we only had video testimonials from our clients selling these gorgeous resorts and hotels around the world, if we could get people to film from the beach, the pool, the bar, and brag about our resort or whatever, I know we could leverage those into thousands of more transactions. But we couldn't get hardly anybody to do it. Well, we came up with a way to do it. We incentivized them. We came up with a reward, a perk. And we said, folks, when they checked into the hotel the day after they check in, we'd send them an email and a text message saying, can you give us some feedback? How's the hotel living up to your expectations? Give us a score 1 to 5. If they gave us a 4 or 5, we would say then, hey, if you'll help spread the word and tell the rest of the world about this beautiful hotel you're at, film a selfie video from the pool, the bar, the beach, the whatever you like best, and brag about the hotel brand and our brand, we'll give you what? A bonus, a reward, a 3-day getaway to Las Vegas or Orlando. And that was expensive at first because we got hundreds of these video reviews coming in. And then that grew into many, many more. Well, we had to go and stop the whole campaign because it was too expensive to give away these trips we were doing until we built what eventually became Marketing Boost. Well, today we implement Trust by Reviews. We give you this platform to help you generate more constant flow of fresh feedback from your customers. It's a feedback flow, honest feedback. And for that, you can give away Marketing Boost rewards, incentives, a small one like a restaurant savings voucher or a hotel savings card, just for the feedback. But then and by the way, if it's a negative feedback, we give you unlike any other platform for generating reviews, we give you a 72-hour feedback window, a 72-hour mediation window to fix the problem before that review gets published live. We want to give you the chance to talk to that customer and try to fix the problem before that review goes live. If they never respond, we're going to consider that review as maybe even fake, and it won't ever get published. But But then if they are positive, 3, 4, and 5-star reviews, we want to help you encourage those clients. One happy customer can turn into 3, 4, or 5 reviews because our platform is going to make it easy and simple, a couple of clicks away to help them post that positive feedback about your business, their positive experience. We're going to encourage them to publish that on Google, Facebook, Yelp, Trustpilot, SiteJabber, etc., third-party review sites. So you get one happy client, post on 3 or 4 review sites. Guess what? Your brand is going to be lifted by Google, like it or not, because you're going to see all these reviews coming in on multiple third-party sites. So there's a lot more to learn. Go to trustbyreviews.com and learn how your business can blow up with positive flow of new reviews. And you better have them, like he said, like Rich said. If you don't have a constant flow, I mean, if your last review was in 2022, then you don't have the credibility. You don't have, you need a constant flow of new reviews, and obviously you need positive ones. So check out Trust by Reviews. We help you make that happen, and we do it very affordably. All right, we're back with Rich. And by the way, we got a great Black Friday offer coming up for all Marketing Boost members. If you're an annual Marketing Boost member, you're going to get a free version of Trust by Reviews coming to you free as a bonus for Black Friday. If you're not an annual member, become one. And if you already are, you're going to get it. So, Rich, we're back with you.
That's exciting. Hey, congratulations on your new product. Reviews are hugely important. May I piggyback on that for a moment?
Please.
Sometimes it's not possible to get credit for something that you're really outstanding at without sounding conceited or self-serving. And the only way to get credit, or the best way to get credit, is to have that come out of the mouth of someone who's experienced your brand. And so testimonials, meaning their work affected me personally, or a child or someone I love in this way, or an endorsement, the importance of what you're doing is so important to the world. It's either a testimonial, which is a personal experience, or an endorsement, which is an uplifting of the value. Those types of statements made by third parties other than the brand are so valuable that those things that it would be difficult to give yourself credit for, you want them coming back in testimonial or endorsement. When we're helping someone launch their book, we have them send the note, hey, if you'll look at the book and write something of value to yourself or to somebody that you care about, we'll really appreciate that. And they go, yeah, send me the book. We send them a list and say, like, hey, here's the book. And we've attached a list of the kind of things that people are saying. If you resonate with any of them, just make them your own. We literally pre-write
the reviews, basically. Give it.
In John and Mary, like somebody would say it in a conversational kind of, idiomatic kind of way, and get credit. Make sure, we write and say, we need to get credit for this. So let's write one that gives us credit for that without sounding, and some, we'll send out 25 and we'll get 7 who say, yeah, I'll take number 13. People don't like to write, or they don't think they're good writers, and they go, oh, that sounds really good. Yeah, I'd say that. They wouldn't write it, but they'd say it. So testimonials, literally to send out to people, hey, we're looking for testimonials, and this is the kind of things that people are saying about the work, and you've worked with this for a time, so wow, we sure would appreciate if you'd write a couple of sentences about answering one of these 5 questions. How did it feel working with, what was the aha moment that helped you realize that this was, whatever, answer. Or we've also attached a list of some of the things people say. If any of them resonate with you, just make them your own.
You got to remember, folks, happy customers don't go, we're all customers, right? When you're happy, you expect to be happy. You're not running back to your computer or your phone to write a review. You just, I paid money for this. I expect to be happy with it, and that's the end of it. The ones who get the most fired up and riled up about writing a review, or anybody, or even, I bet you experience it yourself. If you're not happy with something, if you felt like you got scammed, or you felt like you got burnt, or they didn't do what they said they were going to do, and you paid good money for it, you I know I've been there. I want to go out and tell everybody. I'll look for multiple places to write a negative review. Well, to overcome that, because if you're doing a lot of volume of any kind of business, sooner or later you're going to get a negative review, and and that's going to live on the internet forever. And so to counter that, you need a constant flow of positive reviews, happy customers, and of course you've got to fix whatever you did wrong to get the negative, so you don't get any more of them. But boom, that's the part of generating. Do you have a system in place to solicit reviews? People are often, small businesses are kind of scared or nervous about it. You feel embarrassed to ask for, hey, would you write a review here? Would you post a review here for us? You got to set up an automation system so that you're personally not feeling that weirdness about soliciting a review or feedback. And there's a gamble in that in a way. What if they're not happy, right? So that's where our platform gives you that 72-hour window to try to fix things before they go.
Marco, I think that's brilliant. I wanted to say that earlier. Your 72-hour window is brilliant. Sometimes I feel less than thrilled. It comes from a misperception. They weren't listening to me. They didn't understand what I need. And those misperceptions can be cleared up with gentleness and kindness and caring. It can. So that 72-hour window is absolutely marvelous. And I will point out, I had nothing to do with it, but one of my earliest clients, about 10 years ago, I guess, because that's when I started the one-on-one stuff, she was asking people for as many. She was a mobile massage therapist, and then she got a place, so now she wasn't mobile anymore, and she was asking people for reviews, and they gave her really good reviews, and so she had all these reviews and all these reviews. One day she reached out to me and said, hey, check this out. And some aggregator in Texas, she's in Long Beach, California, had identified that she had more positive reviews than anybody in that particular area, and they had given her an award as being one of the top, the number one award getter. She didn't even know what was happening. That exploded her business in a very positive way and became a credential that she never even thought was available.
I like that. We haven't implemented that idea, but yeah, because our platform will aggregate reviews for different companies and bring them all in under one umbrella. So that's a good idea. The awards, the Trust by Reviews Award.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for that idea. I got to jot that down. Trust by Reviews Award. So I will be sending that to my team to start coming up with some trophies and
Who better than you? Yeah.
Love it. So we've been on for a while. You've given us a lot of your time this morning, afternoon rather. Appreciate you, Rich. You offer the free brand clarity session. Who is the ideal person for that? And what, you already told us a little bit about what happens during that, but who can benefit the most from that brand first or die link that's in the show notes below?
Someone who has experience, and maybe they're already well known, but they don't have to be. And I mean in their area of expertise, but they know they're not done. They know there's more, either higher level impacts or different kinds of impacts or different kinds of target audience. They know there's more. They know they're not done, but they feel like they're stuck at a starting gate to the next level and the gate's locked. And they don't know branding, and they don't know who to trust, and they don't know who can really understand the fine points of what they do. And they come and they see what happens here, and they realize you've got somebody who has worked across hundreds of industries, and it doesn't matter what the industry is. And I'm always looking forward to the next set of language. It's one of those things that I love every year. But so for me, for that brand first or die, it's people that it will shift how they think when they realize their brand is a perception, and what they're doing is they're evolving the perception. Because that's what that's about, to make your highest level, your biggest, the ones that God put you here to make those impacts. It's almost mandatory that you evolve how you're perceived.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you might not make them. So let's get on with it. Brand first, or it might die, right? So
Right.
that's the wake up call. There are two types of people that really will benefit just reaching out and either having a conversation with me or showing up at one of our events and starting to get into the community and realizing what's here. One is, as we just described, someone who has years of experience and they know they're not done and they're ready to take it to another level. And they know they need more clarity about how to do that or what to do, but they don't even know what to ask. But they're ready. They want to make more impact. They want to have a legacy. Maybe they want to have a book. Maybe they want, or they just want to continue and take it to another level. And they could use some help in the clarity and how-to department. The other is the one you mentioned, and that is, I've done something for 30 years. I'm done with that. Now I want to do what I love or something like that. And they don't have a brand. They don't have an identity. And they're starting from scratch, but they have life experience. They play cello. They speak languages. They have certain, degrees. They have, they were in the certain industry. There's only one person like them. How do you define in language the brand that is authentically them in a way that's unique, so there's no competition from the beginning?
Sounds like my next story. I was going to
start in the beginning is the right way to do it. Don't try it and then go, well, that didn't work, and try it, because now you're creating confusion. Get it right the first time.
Get it right the first time.
Branding right before the brand opens its mouth and starts doing marketing.
That kind of leads into my next question I was going to ask you, which is, what do you say to people that doubt themselves, or they don't feel they have a big enough story or purpose to build a brand around, but they know they need to build something because they're still young and not ready to retire yet, or what have you. So I guess you help define that in that process of the.
That's an insightful question. Everyone is.
I mean, for the narcissist like me who thinks I can, my story's big enough. No, but those are easier maybe to guide. But when you're doubtful of yourself, okay,
that was a misuse of the N word, my friend. That word is dangerous, and I would never use that.
No, I tease when I say it because but. I'm not afraid of the camera kind of thing, but I'm not quite the narcissist either.
Everyone is different, and some people have a background of faith, so that the idea that they're here for a reason, that they were made by a creator on purpose, for a purpose, is comfortable for them. Other people were not raised in faith, and it's new. That doesn't mean they can't accept it or that they're not ready, but it depends how it comes to them. They need to become ready for it. So we often say the light, and for many of the brands that we work on, the light is not coming from them. The light, capital L, God's light, the light is coming through them, not from them. We're not setting ourselves up as God brands where we are all knowing and we have the solution, and we're setting ourselves up as conduits to make sure that what gets to happen, what needs to happen, what they've been designed to do gets to happen. And so it depends on where the person is in that process of life, but for someone who doesn't think they're worthy enough or important enough or have a big enough story, or the first thing I would say was you're absolutely unique. You get to accept these things. You are absolutely unique. There is no one like you. You are made by God, so you were made perfect, and you were made for a reason. Whether you accept that or not, that's the way we understand it. And so let's make sure that reason starts to become clear. Often when I speak, I'll say, people say like, well, what guidelines would you give to people? For the people who weren't raised talking in prayer, talking to their creator. Uh, and maybe they're from the, and I'm not going to go there. So maybe they're doing it a different way because everybody's on a different path. I would say ask, what am I supposed to do? Ask, why am I here? Ask what you want me to, what is the will of the reason I'm here? What is your will? Whomever they talk to. And because if we don't ask, or let's say when we ask, we're open. When we ask, we're waiting for an answer. And that answer may be on God's time, but it may be quick. And so everyone's unique, and everyone is, look, we all have the same, I would say this to them as well. All of us have exactly the same opportunity. We get to make the most significant impacts on those whose lives we touch with the gifts we're given. We're all born perfect, made by the same creator with a purpose, but we all have unique gifts. And many of our gifts are very different than other people's gifts, and they're no different. Now, if somebody's born without a leg, there's a reason for that. And they get to bring that. If someone experienced childhood sexual abuse, whatever swamp they get to schlep through, in their life, prepares them for the impact that they get to make. And so that's the mindset that helps people that think they don't measure up to realize they're as measured up as anybody. And now it's time to tell their story. Sometimes when we pull from behind our back what we are ashamed of or we don't want to share, and we share it, we heal and others heal too. So it's people are either ready or they're not. And if they hear me talk and they go, I think maybe, they're probably ready. And that's a good thing. Not everybody is, Marco, and some people are trying to collect toys. Hopefully they'll get over it. But it's not about collecting toys, okay?
Yeah, can't take them with you. So here we are, folks. I wanted to here's our call to action for you. If you're, we want to make sure you come in here. If it's brand first or die, the show note in the link below in the show notes, you can find the quick link here to sign up for for this masterclass held twice a month. There's also a link in the show notes for the calendar to speak directly with Rich Kozak, so you can get 20 minutes, 30 minutes with him. How long is that calendar set up of yours?
It's a talk to Rich for 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30-minute conversation with Rich. No obligation to do anything beyond that. He's willing to take his time after 40 years of the branding business to help you start defining your brand. Another step is to join this webinar that he does twice a month. There's a cost to this one. Is that correct? 97 for the masterclass?
brandingyouwithimpact.com is the URL, brandingyouwithimpact.com. Yeah, and it's $97. It's 4 hours, and it is.
Oh, that's the 4-hour one. This one is free.
Yeah. Yep.
This one is free. This first one.
Minutes free. Yep.
Yeah, got it. And then the other one has the expense. Great. And then the last thing, one more time, I want to promote this, folks. If you're watching this before November 19th, if they're seeing this video be after that, Rich, is this something they can purchase the videos after the fact or no?
Yes, and the event will repeat in about 6 months, but with a different set of speakers.
Right.
So, but yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've put these people together so that people get to hear them. That's why it's free. Just if you want access to them so you can re-listen and share it with others in your life, it's a good thing to purchase the VIP level to get the recordings. Yeah.
So hopefully we get this published in time. Wednesday, November 19th through Friday the 21st, starting at 8 a.m. Pacific Coast time. So those of us on the East Coast gets to eat later in the day, a little easier to join. And Again, great list of speakers. Any final words you want to tell us about not why we should not miss this?
Uh, you'll feel yourself rising to a higher level of living. Everyone's talking about living a fulfilled life. Many of us are caught on the hamster wheel, or our daily chores, or our daily job, or we work for somebody else, or we've created a business and we're a little bit more of a slave to the business than we'd like to be because we haven't automated it yet. This will give you a wonderful time to think in the realm of living your most fulfilling life. Some people are talking about parenting. Some people are talking about security of your business. Some people are talking about releasing what holds you back. Some people are talking about how to speak. But all of them help others step into a much higher level of fulfillment. So, yeah, every speaker is worthy in their own way. Praise God. So I hope you get a lot out of it. Please don't miss it.
I need a favor from everybody who's spent the time to watch us. One, I want to first thank you for your time to pay attention to this conversation with Rich and I. We really appreciate you joining us and listening. But do us a huge favor. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe and share this content. Grab the link and share this with another entrepreneur out there who's looking for a way, or somebody who's considering opening a brand and is looking for a way to start a business and ought to take the time to define their mission, their goal, their brand before they start spending money on building a website and content and marketing and confusing themselves and everybody around them about what they do.
It's for you, Marco. Glad to hear that landed.
Right? Before you confuse yourself and everybody around you about what the heck it is you're hoping to try to do, help, take the time. There's free resources here with Rich to help you define your mission, close your eyes, define your brand, help you define the words to use for your brand. And of course, that's going to help you set up your mission statement. That's going to help you set up your whole team as you build a team to make sure you're all on the same page, with the same language, with the same mission, and then your message will resonate, and sales, you'll be able to impact people, which means if you can impact enough people in life, guess what? The more people you impact, the more money you're probably going to make along the way, just because. If you're not impacting anybody, stay home, watch TV. But if you want to impact lives, then you need to define and have a mission. And Rich is an expert at helping you do just that. Folks, again, love you. Thank you. We'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast. Thank you. Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Boost Solutions podcast with your hosts, Captain Marco Torres. Now it's on you. Take the next step now. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on how you can wow, delight, and surprise your clients with the most amazing draw card on the planet. So stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. See you next time.